In a few days we shall be celebrating the festival of Purim. A month later we will be celebrating the festival of Pesach. How do we characterize a festival? During the year we will be further celebrating other festivals, but in what criteria do we characterize a Jewish festival? A festival is characterized by three factors. A, by simcha, rejoicing, which mostly takes the form of ceremonial meals. The second one is by the prohibition of work. And the third one is by the prayer, or in temple times, by the special sacrificial offerings. History teaches us that in the pagan religions of the ancient East, the festivals were established by men in order to find favor with the deity and prevent disasters. For instance, at the worship of the golden calf, we are told that the people offered burnt offerings, and they sat down to eat and drink, and gave themselves up to revelry. That's what the Israelites had learned from the Egyptians, and that was typical of all festive celebrations in which dancing and eating occupied a prominent place. It was this concept that the prophets of Israel spoke against. The celebration of a festival in the Torah is limited by the sanctity of the festival, and there is no hint in the entire Bible of the orgies, wildness, and promiscuity connected with the pagan festivals in the ancient East. The Bible even stresses that rejoicing of a feast is not confined only to the elite, as was in ancient times, but it is for the whole community. Furthermore, the Torah stresses that on these occasions one should not forget the slaves, the Levites, the stranger, the orphan, and the widow. In the book of Nehemiah, we even read that during the Second Temple, it was customary to send gifts to the needy on the festivals. And so, while the Greeks and the Romans, the festival celebrations were accompanied by wild parties, Jewish writers stress the uniqueness of the Jewish festival. In his commentary to the Torah, Philo, the greatest philosopher and commentator on the Bible in post-biblical times, has this to say: the cessation of work on the festival was a possible danger, since eating and drinking aroused lust and other low instincts. Giving in to these feelings could lead to vice. Therefore, the lawgiver Moses did not permit his people to celebrate the festivals like other nations, but commanded them to come to the temple, so that the hymns, the melodies, the prayers, and the sacrifices would influence their finer senses, and that they will be inspired with a spirit of piety. In addition, during the festival, Moses commanded them to bring a sin offering. Now pause and think. Why bring a sin offering in the middle of joy and celebration? But the sin offering is to remind them not to indulge in excessive eating and drinking. Philo goes on to say that those who came to the festive banquet did not come to stuff themselves with meat and wine, but through meditation and prayers they would realize the importance of their heritage. Ignorance of the nature of true happiness leads people to assume that on festivals joy is to be achieved through physical indulgence. Philo concludes, where man's virtues constantly to rule his desires, his whole life, from his birth to the day he dies, would be one long festival. This is the difference between our celebration of a festival and the celebration by other nations. And this is why during the festival of Pesach, we are told to reject chametz, which is a symbol of Yetzer Hara, of evil impulse, of evilness, but to eat the matzah, the unleavened bread, which is a symbol of Yetzer HaTov, the good impulse. And this is why the prohibition of work during the festival was enforced, for only through the cessation of work one has the time to meditate about the significance of the festivals and the world around us. In conclusion, while we are celebrating our festivals, let us give a thought to the elderly, the sick, the stranger, the orphan, the widow, and all those who need